Okay, gather round and let the noise of your mind settle for a moment. Listen closely, for what I am about to share is not merely a collection of words but a key to unlocking a way of being, a way of moving through this world that most will never grasp. They will tell you that life is unfair, that the world is a harsh place, and in their own way, they are not wrong. The world, in its vast indifference, does not pause for your tears, nor does it tally your betrayals or count the moments you were unjustly pushed aside. It offers no unearned solace. But here is a truth more profound. You were never sculpted for the shadows, never designed to dissolve into the background. You were forged in fire, intended to blaze, to stand as a beacon. If your desire is not merely to exist but to truly live, to not just participate but to prevail in this grand, often tumultuous theater of life, then you must cultivate an intelligence that cuts deeper than cunning. I speak not of deceit or the cold machinations of manipulation, but of a refined way of navigating, thinking with a sharpness that pierces illusion, living with a sagacity that turns obstacles into stepping stones. This is the wisdom etched by scars, distilled from solitary nights where tears were your only companions, and forged in the crucible of days where all you possessed was a flicker of hope and a spine of unyielding steel. You aspire to a state of quiet command, to enter any space and emanate a presence that needs no announcement, a certainty that you cannot be played. Then lend me your focus, for I will impart 5 principles, 5 pillars upon which a life of unshakable integrity and influence can be built. These are the demarcations between the forgotten and the forever remembered. Embrace them, live by their essence, and you will never again be a pawn in anyone else's game. Let us delve into the very core of your being. Reflect with unflinching honesty. How many precious opportunities, how many cherished connections, how much of your own inviolable dignity has slipped through your fingers, not because of an external blow, but because of the tremor of your own unmastered reaction. Our emotions, you see, are like vast oceans, powerful, life-giving, capable of immense beauty. Yet, if left unchecked, they can become a poisoned chalice, a tempest that wrecks the very vessel of our lives. A person unable to govern the currents of their anger, the shadows of their fear, or the gnawing whispers of insecurity becomes a marionette, their strings pulled by circumstance, by the words and actions of others. They dance to a discordant symphony they never composed. However, the one who cultivates discipline over these inner tides, who learns to navigate the storms within, becomes a truly formidable soul. This is the individual who has weathered tempests, yet walks with the serene assurance of one for whom the sun shines eternally. You must strive to reach a sanctuary within, a place where you feel the entirety of life's spectrum, the joy, the sorrow, the frustration, yet respond to nothing impulsively, reacting only when it aligns with your deepest values and strategic intent. This control is not an absence of feeling, a cold detachment. It is the pinnacle of wisdom. It is the profound understanding that another's disrespect need not ignite a wildfire of chaos within you, dragging you down to their level. You are the lion. You do not flinch or roar back at every insignificant bark. You do not expend your precious energy defending your inherent worth to those who are committed to misunderstanding you, nor do you allow their venom to seep into the wellspring of your mindset. If disrespect is shown, you observe, you assess, and you respond, if a response is even merited, with calculated calm, at a time, and in a manner of your choosing. To let your emotions dictate your actions is to surrender your power, to become predictable, average. And you, my friend, are not here to be average. You are here to ascend, to lead, to command your reality without sacrificing the sanctity of your inner peace. Observe the most potent individuals in any gathering. They are often the calmest, the most still. This is no mere coincidence. Stillness is a weapon of immense power. Composure is the hallmark of control. While others flail, expending energy in emotional outbursts, throwing verbal punches with no clear aim, you stand centered, observing, learning, waiting. You strike if you must, when the moment is perfectly ripe, with precision and devastating effect. The loudest voice in the room is seldom the most powerful, but the one seated in quiet contemplation, listening with every fiber of their being, reading the subtle energies and unspoken narratives. That is the presence to be truly reckoned with. Aspire to be that presence. Let your countenance be a serene mask, never betraying your next move, never revealing what truly stirs you. This is how you outmaneuver those who seek to manipulate, to criticize, to undermine. Maintain your poise, for your silence amidst a storm speaks with an eloquence that 1,000 frantic words could never achieve. Emotions are natural guides, signals from within, but they were never meant to be your masters. Anger, jealousy, fear, these are indicators, not steering wheels. Allow them to seize control, and they will drive you headlong into the abyss of regret. So, what is the path? It is one of rigorous training. You cultivate the habit of breathing before speaking, of observing before acting. You build the internal architecture to delay your reaction until your discerning mind, not the fleeting intensity of your feelings, dictates your next move. You learn to transmute emotion into fuel, not wildfire. Channel your pain into unwavering purpose, your disappointment into refined strategy. When provocation comes, as it inevitably will, you remind yourself, I am the master of this moment. I choose its unfolding, I choose its end. Therein lies the heart of true dominance, not over others, but over the self. The deepest secret to power is self-control. It is why so few truly possess it, for it demands more strength to remain calm than to lash out, more character to walk away from a needless conflict than to ignite a war that will only birth regret. Emotional mastery does not mean allowing others to trample upon you. It means possessing the acuity to discern which battles are worthy of your energy and which are mere distractions, noise designed to pull you from your path. Most of what angers you is unworthy of your life force. Most of what disappoints you is often a subtle redirection, life's way of whispering, this was not meant for you. But if you are ensnared in the maelstrom of your feelings, you will miss the lesson. And in missing the lesson, you are doomed to repeat the mistake. This is not merely about sidestepping conflict. It is about striding into your purpose with a clear, uncluttered mind. When you are emotionally volatile, your vision is clouded, your judgment impaired. You cannot perceive opportunities clearly. You make decisions from a place of turbulence. You misplace your trust, speak out of turn, and burn bridges you may later need. But when your mind is sharp, your spirit stable, you become an untouchable force. You navigate storms as if they were sunlit days. Others cast shade, and you use it to grow. They underestimate you, and you allow their ignorance to become your most effective camouflage. Emotional discipline is the silent engine driving powerful strategic moves. If someone can push your buttons, they can orchestrate your life. If they know what incites your anger, they know how to distract you from your goals. If they understand the triggers of your insecurity, they can manipulate your decisions. And if your decisions are manipulated, you are not living on your terms. You are a puppet dancing to their tune. That is not dominance. It is dependence, an emotional servitude. Therefore, you must begin to ask yourself with profound sincerity, who truly holds the reins here? Is it you or the ghosts of your past wounds, the specter of your fear, the insatiable demands of your ego? Seize the driver's seat of your own emotional state. You cannot lead others. You cannot protect what is precious to you. You cannot conquer the challenges of this life if you remain a prisoner to every fleeting mood that knocks upon your door. I share this not from a pedestal of flawless perfection, but from the hard-won ground of experience. There will be countless moments when every fiber of your being screams to react, to fight, to scream, to vindicate yourself. But understand this, the higher you ascend, the more intense the pressures you will face, the more insidiously nonsense will try to ensnare you. This is precisely why you must forge a mind that is stronger than the ebb and flow of your emotions. You must learn to sit with discomfort and not let it shatter your resolve. You must relinquish the craving for external validation, for constant understanding, for applause. There will be times when you must walk away in dignified silence, even as your pride roars for retribution. There will be occasions where you must embody the larger perspective, even when every instinct urges you to scorch the earth. This is the way of the warrior, and you, my friend, were built for the battlefield, but the most crucial battlefield is the one within your own mind. So, if you wish to outsmart anyone, begin by outsmarting yourself. Outsmart your own anger, outsmart your own ego, outsmart that insidious inner voice that whispers of revenge instead of true victory. Your legacy will not be measured by the volume of your roar, but by the quiet strength with which you ruled over your own spirit. Control your emotions and never allow them to control you. This is not merely the first rule of profound influence, it is the bedrock upon which all other mastery is built. Master this, and the world will find it exceedingly difficult to ever play you again. Allow me to share a truth that eludes most until the tapestry of their lives is nearly woven, often with threads of regret. True power is not acquired through the volume of your speech, but through the depth of your knowing. There is a sacredness in silence, a profound weight, a dominant energy that permeates the stillness. In a world cacophonous with voices, each clamoring to prove, to impress, to be seen and heard, the individual who speaks with measured economy, who chooses their words as a master archer chooses their arrows, often commands the most profound respect and attention. The world bows to wisdom, and wisdom rarely shouts. It whispers, often in the pauses between words. When you enter a space and speak only when necessity dictates, when your words carry the undeniable weight of insight, people will lean in. They will listen with an intensity reserved for pronouncements of great import, for they sense that what you offer is not mere noise, but distilled understanding. But before you even part your lips, ensure that your mind is a treasure trove of knowledge, that you truly comprehend the landscape of the conversation. Learn everything. Observe the subtle patterns in human behavior. Read the unspoken language of people. Study the intricate mechanics of the game of life. And then, consciously, deliberately, say less. For the one who knows the most and speaks the least, that is the individual who truly holds the cards, the one who, more often than not, emerges victorious. You see, every unnecessary word spoken is a piece of yourself given away. Your thoughts, your vulnerabilities, your strategic intentions, your hidden weaknesses. Others, consciously or unconsciously, will gather these fragments, study your verbal patterns, dissect your statements, and if their intent is less than noble, use them to their advantage, perhaps even against you. But if you can cultivate the art of holding your tongue, of speaking only when your words are like finely honed blades, sharp, clear, and purposeful, you cloak yourself in an aura of untouchability. You confound those who might wish you ill, you intrigue those who could be allies, and most importantly, you safeguard the serene fortress of your inner peace. This is not about cultivating an air of artificial mystery for its own sake. It is about being profoundly intentional. It is about possessing a quiet dangerousness rooted in your silence, for people cannot manipulate what they do not comprehend. They cannot counter moves they do not see materializing, and they certainly cannot control a mind whose depths they cannot fathom. Learn to make your silence resonate more powerfully than their clamor. Life, in its entirety, is a vast classroom, and every individual you encounter, every room you enter, every failure you endure, is a teacher offering invaluable lessons. But if your mind is too preoccupied with formulating your next sentence, if you are too eager to project your own voice, you will remain deaf to the wisdom being whispered all around you. The most astute individuals in any setting are invariably the most diligent listeners. They are not desperately trying to impress you with their own brilliance. They are meticulously assessing you, your tone of voice, your choice of words, the subtle energies you project. They are like master detectives, picking up on minute details, discerning patterns, identifying gaps in logic and unspoken assumptions. And when they finally choose to speak, they do not squander their breath on trivialities. Their words are precise, measured, imbued with a power that commands attention. This is the standard to which you must aspire. Relinquish the need to be the loudest. Strive instead to be the most aware. Cultivate the ability to absorb information like a sponge, to become a silent collector of knowledge, sitting back and amassing insights until the opportune moment arrives to make your move. And when you do, let it be surgical, precise, unforgettable. If your aim is to outsmart anyone, then you must arm yourself with more knowledge than they presume you possess and articulate less than they anticipate. This is the art of moving in silence and striking with overwhelming strength. Let them underestimate your quietude. Let them misinterpret your stillness as a lack of knowledge. Let them grow comfortable in their assumptions, for it is in that space of their misjudgment that your true power begins to germinate. In a world addicted to the relentless barrage of noise, silence, when wielded with intention, is a superpower. But this silence must be more than mere absence of sound. It must be deeply rooted in and backed by extensive learning. You must immerse yourself in the books they are not reading. Ask the incisive questions they are not courageous enough to voice. Observe the subtle dynamics they are too distracted to notice. Develop an obsession with understanding. The intricacies of human psychology, the undercurrents of systems, the flows of money, the dynamics of conflict and peace, the anatomy of success and failure. Knowledge is your impenetrable armor, your sharpest weapon, your truest compass. And paradoxically, the more you come to know, the less you will feel the compulsion to speak, because your confidence will blossom from a place of inner clarity, not from the volume of your pronouncements. Have you ever noticed that the most strategically brilliant game-changing moves are often the ones that materialize without any prior announcement, the ones you never see coming? That is because the architects of such moves do not broadcast their intentions. They learn, they plan, they execute with meticulous precision in the quiet sanctum of their own counsel, while others boast of grand designs that never leave the drawing board. The truly wise are already 10 steps ahead, their progress veiled in silence. Do not be the person who tirelessly narrates their every endeavor. Be the person who unveils the finished masterpiece. Do not announce your ambitions. Let your results thunder. Do not endlessly explain your mindset. Embody it with every action. Those who are loud often crave external validation. Those who are wise possess an innate knowing of their own worth. When you commit to learning everything and speaking little, you conserve your precious mental energy for what truly matters: strategic thinking, disciplined action, flawless execution. This is the potent combination that sets you apart from the masses. Understand this critical principle. Every word you utter carries a cost. It costs you time, it costs you energy, and often it costs you opportunity and leverage. The more others know about your inner workings, the more ammunition they possess, should they choose to use it against you. The less you reveal, the more impenetrable your mind becomes. You must protect your thoughts, your plans, your aspirations with the same vigilance you would employ to protect your home. You would not leave your door wide open for any passerby to enter and rummage through your belongings, would you? Then why do you leave your dreams, your intentions, your strategies exposed for the world to dissect, distort, and potentially derail? Learn to guard the sanctity of your inner world. Speak only when your words have a clear purpose, when they carry undeniable weight. And when you do choose to speak, let your voice resonate with clarity, calmness, and unshakable confidence. This is the cadence of leaders, the way kings and queens move through the world. Most people mistakenly believe that talking equates to power, but talking is only power when it is profoundly backed by knowledge, by discipline, by an undeniable presence. Without these foundations, it is merely noise, and noise, however loud, fades quickly into insignificance. If you desire to command your destiny in this life, commit to the path of learning everything and speaking little. Become so knowledgeable that your silence itself is intimidating. Be so precise in your articulation that your few, well-chosen words cut deeper and resonate longer than the rambling paragraphs of others. Cultivate such mental acuity that people seek you out for your guidance, not for idle gossip. And most importantly, do not allow the relentless noise of the world to rush you into revealing your hand prematurely. Patience is an integral component of strategy. Learning is the very essence of winning. Every moment you invest in listening instead of talking is a moment you grow stronger, smarter, and more prepared. While they are engrossed in the sound of their own voices, you are in the silent dojo of your mind, transforming, evolving. So, when you walk into any room, carry yourself with the quiet assurance of one who knows far more than they choose to reveal. Resist the urge to prove yourself, to desperately seek understanding. The world may not immediately recognize your worth, and that is perfectly acceptable, because when you finally do speak, your words will have the power to shake the very ground beneath their feet. When you finally do move, your actions will carve a legacy. Keep learning, keep sharpening the unparalleled weapon of your mind. Speak less, listen more, for in the grand unfolding, it is the quiet student who often becomes the revered master, the silent observer who becomes the anticipated storm, and the one who dedicates themselves to learning everything while speaking little. That is the one nobody sees coming until it is profoundly, irrevocably too late. There arrives a juncture in every life, a critical turning point where you awaken to the stark realization that patiently waiting for external validation, for someone else to anoint you, is the very anchor weighing you down, preventing your ascent. You find yourself caught in a cycle of hoping someone will finally perceive your inherent worth, hoping a door will magically swing open, hoping an opportunity will be graciously handed to you. But the unvarnished truth, the kind that cuts through delusion, is this: no one is riding in on a white horse to grant you permission to rise. You must seize it. You must move with the unshakable conviction that your destiny is already yours, as if the opportunity you seek has already been signed, sealed, and delivered into your deserving hands. Understand this: power does not gravitate towards the hesitant, nor does it belong to the individual perpetually glancing around for a nod of approval. Power is drawn to and ultimately resides with the one who meticulously studies the path, sharpens the blade of their skill, and steps forward with unwavering intention. Precision over permission. This is the foundational mindset of those who don't just participate, but dominate their chosen fields. You do not politely inquire of the world if it is acceptable for you to be great. You demonstrate through your actions and your being what greatness truly looks like. You were not brought into this world to beg for scraps, nor were you designed to linger at the back of the line, hoping someone will eventually wave you forward. When you choose to operate with precision, your entire mode of being shifts. You cease to chase, you begin to choose. You move with deliberate purpose, not with the scattered energy of panic. You no longer wait for an external go signal, because you have already made the internal declaration that this race, this endeavor, this life belongs to you. Consider for a moment the countless souls who never even embark upon their journey, forever stalled at the starting line, hoping for an external voice to assure them they are ready. The ones who consistently win, however, operate under a different paradigm. They prepare in the quiet shadows, meticulously studying the map of their ambitions, diligently building their capacities in the darkness, away from prying eyes. And when they finally emerge, they are not timidly asking for entry. They are confidently taking their rightful seat at the table. The world, often unconsciously, makes way for the individual who radiates an unshakable knowing of their destination. You must approach your life as a mission of utmost importance, and missions by their very nature are not open for debate or committee approval. When a skilled pilot prepares for takeoff, they do not conduct a survey among the passengers, asking if it's okay to fly. They follow a precise flight plan, a focused protocol, and they lift off with an unwavering confidence born of preparation and expertise. This is precisely how you must learn to move in your own life. Banish hesitation. Silence the insidious whispers of self-doubt. Eradicate the crippling need to ask if you are good enough. Begin to walk as if the very ground beneath your feet recognizes your sovereignty. Start speaking as if your voice carries inherent value and deserves to be heard. Start making decisions as if your vision is not just a fleeting dream, but a future reality demanding to be manifested. Because when you passively wait for permission, you willingly relinquish your power, and once power is handed over, it is a monumental task to reclaim it. Conversely, when you move with precision, you retain control firmly in your own hands. You lead, you do not follow. You command, you do not merely request. Let me be unequivocally clear. Moving with precision is not synonymous with impulsiveness or reckless haste. It is the art of thinking with crystalline clarity, moving with unshakable confidence, and executing with an unwavering commitment to excellence. When you embody precision, it signifies that the arduous work has already been accomplished long before anyone witnesses your public move. You have trained diligently, studied relentlessly, stumbled, fallen, and risen again, each time stronger and wiser. So, when you finally take that decisive step, you do not crave applause, for you are guided by an inner alignment, a deep sense of purpose. You are not moving to impress the gallery. You are moving because you have unequivocally earned your moment. And that caliber of power does not beg for attention. It commands it effortlessly. Your silence becomes a statement of strength. Your deliberate steps become powerful pronouncements. Your unwavering vision becomes undeniably potent. You do not knock tentatively on doors, hoping to be let in. You design and build your own door, and then you walk through it with the authority of one who belongs. The fundamental difference between those who merely dream and those who actively dominate is strikingly simple. Dominators do not wait for ideal conditions to magically appear. They do not postpone action, waiting for a chorus of support, for universal understanding, or for a standing ovation. They decide, they move, they adjust their course as needed. They embrace failure not as a final verdict, but as crucial feedback, propelling them forward. They are not chasing the illusion of comfort. They are relentlessly pursuing clarity. And clarity, true clarity, is most often found not in passive contemplation, but in purposeful action. You discover the depths of your capabilities, not when you are lost in thought, but when you are engaged in the doing. When you move with precision, you learn invaluable lessons from your missteps. You correct your course with agility, but you never ever stop. You never stall. You never surrender your momentum to the whims or opinions of others. Your path may not be easy, it may be fraught with challenges, but it will be unequivocally yours. And in that ownership, in that self-directed journey, lies true freedom, not in the elusive pursuit of perfection, but in the unwavering commitment to purposeful movement. Sometimes the most constricting chains are not external, but forged in the recesses of your own mind. That insidious inner critic whispering, "You need permission, you're not ready. Who do you think you are to even try?" But that voice is a deceiver, and it will keep you confined to a small, unfulfilling existence if you allow it to dictate your actions. This is precisely why precision is paramount. When your focus is laser sharp on your objective, there is simply no mental space for that debilitating noise. When you are locked into your next deliberate step, fear loses its grip. It cannot find purchase. You cannot be intimidated by the specter of rejection when you no longer operate from a place of asking. You cannot be crushed by the weight of others' opinions when your mission transcends their approval. People may not understand your journey, they may question your choices, and that is perfectly acceptable. They were not entrusted with your unique vision. You were. Therefore, honor it, walk in it, own it, with every fiber of your being. Greatness does not announce its arrival with trumpets and fanfare. It materializes in the unwavering consistency of your actions, in the decisive sharpness of your moves, in the disciplined intentionality behind your decisions. Every single day that you take a purposeful step forward without waiting for the world to applaud is a day you grow stronger, clearer, bolder. Do not move because it is popular. Move because it is aligned with your deepest truth. Do not speak because you crave to be heard. Speak because you have something of value to contribute. Do not act to impress. Act to impact. When you master the art of moving with precision, you cease to merely react to circumstances and you begin to actively create your reality. You stop chasing fleeting illusions and you start building enduring legacies. And slowly but surely, the world begins to recognize and respond to the immense power that has always resided within you, patiently waiting to be unleashed. So, from this moment onward, make a solemn vow to stop waiting. Decide with unshakable clarity who you are. Decide with unwavering conviction what you want, and then move. Move even if doubt whispers in their voices. Move even if mockery is their response. Move even if no one is watching. because eventually they will watch. They will look back, perhaps with awe, perhaps with regret, and realize that you never asked them for a single ounce of permission. And that, my friend, is the embodiment of true power. You do not demand attention, you command respect. You do not wait to be told it's your turn. You take it with grace, with strength, with unyielding precision. Because when you truly know your worth, you never again move with timidity. And when you move like that, you don't just change your life, you change everything around you. Life, with absolute certainty, will deliver blows. That is not a pessimistic forecast. It is a fundamental promise of existence. There will be moments when the wind is violently knocked from your chest, when structures you painstakingly built seem to crumble into dust before your very eyes. You will experience loss of things you believed indispensable, of people you held dear, of precious, irretrievable time. And in the depths of those moments, an insidious voice will whisper from the shadows of your despair, "Give up, it's over, you're done." But you must listen to me now, with every ounce of your being. That is not the end. It is, in fact, a profound beginning. For nestled within the heart of every setback, every perceived failure, lies a potent seed. A seed of wisdom, a seed of resilience, a seed of unparalleled strategic insight. Pain is not solely a punishment, it is a powerful preparation. The individuals who ascend to true greatness, who leave indelible marks on the tapestry of time, are not those who skillfully avoided hardship or navigated a life devoid of obstacles. They are, invariably, the alchemists who took every loss, every agonizing delay, every crushing disappointment, and meticulously built a new, more potent plan from the wreckage. They refused to allow pain to paralyze them. Instead, they permitted it to sharpen their focus, to hone their resolve, to clarify their vision. You must fundamentally shift your perception of failure. It is not a terminal diagnosis. It is not an insurmountable stop sign. It is merely a detour, often laden with crucial lessons that a smoother path might have concealed. When you fall, when something precious breaks, when life unequivocally tells you no, understand that this is not a final rejection, but a profound redirection. You are being guided, sometimes forcefully, towards something deeper, something more aligned, something ultimately better, even if it is invisible to you in the present moment. The strongest souls in this world are not those who have been gifted an easy, untroubled road. They are the resilient warriors who have consistently, courageously turned their stumbling blocks into stepping stones, their obstacles into undeniable opportunities. They faced the raging storm not with fear, but with a defiant declaration, "I will not break. I will build. I will not panic. I will plan." The critical differentiator between the defeated and the truly dangerous, the formidable, lies in their response to adversity. Defeated individuals remain prostrate, crushed by the weight of their circumstances. Dangerous individuals, however, rise again, not merely restored, but imbued with a newfound clarity, an intensified hunger, and a refined, more potent strategy. When a door slams shut in your face, you do not simply weep before it indefinitely. You meticulously study why it closed. You learn the mechanics of its operation. You dissect the reasons for your exclusion. And then, armed with this knowledge, you figure out how to construct a door of your own, perhaps a grander, more resilient one. That, in essence, is strategy. Setbacks are not malevolent forces designed to destroy you. They are diagnostic tools, showing you precisely where you need to strengthen, where your foundations are weak, where your approach needs refinement. If you have lost something valuable, ask yourself why. If you have faced rejection, interrogate the experience. What was that pain attempting to teach you? Because pain, when listened to with courage, always points towards a deeper purpose, and struggle, when embraced with resilience, always conceals within its harsh exterior the seeds of innovative solutions. You have a choice. You can sit amidst the ashes of what didn't work, lamenting your fate, or you can rise from those very ashes, phoenix-like, armed with a new playbook, a more sophisticated understanding. But the choice must be made. You must consciously decide, is this experience going to define me, or will it refine me? What truly separates leaders from followers, masters from apprentices, is their conduct when life delivers a harsh, unexpected blow. Do they resort to blame, casting about for external scapegoats? Do they surrender to despair, giving up on their aspirations? Or do they turn inward, go silent, and retreat into the crucible of introspection, only to re-emerge with a fire in their eyes, a sharpened plan in their hands? It is in this crucible, this resilient comeback, that real power is forged. And not just any comeback, but a meticulously calculated one. You study the misstep with the dispassionate eye of a scientist. You isolate the weakness with the precision of a surgeon. You correct the movement, the approach, the mindset. You do not merely repeat past patterns. You fundamentally rewire your internal operating system. You look at the problem and dissect it layer by layer until its core mechanisms are laid bare. You transform every self-pitying "why me" into a proactive "what now?" You turn every tear shed not into a symbol of defeat, but into a tool for future success. This is the modus operandi of winners. They do not waste their pain. They weaponize it, transforming it into fuel for their ascent. Sometimes a setback is the universe's ungentle way of shattering your comfort zone, of breaking it wide open because it had become a gilded cage. Perhaps you were settling for less than you deserved. Perhaps you had become complacent, distracted from your true calling. Perhaps you had forgotten the immense power and potential residing within you, and it took that loss, that betrayal, that stinging rejection to jolt you awake, to force you to recalibrate, to compel you to remember who you truly are and what you are capable of. Setbacks possess a peculiar, often paradoxical ability to realign you with your original, most authentic vision. Consider the archer's bow. It must be pulled back, experiencing tension and strain, before it can launch the arrow with force and precision towards its target. So perhaps you are not being pulled apart by adversity. Perhaps you are being pulled back, drawn into a position of greater potential energy, ready to be launched towards a destiny far grander than you had previously imagined. Let this shift in perspective permeate your being. Let it awaken the dormant strategist within you, the one who sees not problems, but puzzles waiting to be solved. You must become an ardent student of your own setbacks. Every time life throws a formidable challenge in your path, ask yourself with genuine curiosity, what is this experience revealing to me about myself, about my approach, about the world? Perhaps it is highlighting a need for greater discipline. Perhaps it is signaling that you need to cultivate a more discerning inner circle. Perhaps it is a stern reminder to cease depending on external validation and to start trusting the unwavering wisdom of your own instincts. The most profound strategy isn't always about changing external circumstances or manipulating others. Sometimes, the greatest, most transformative shift occurs when you fundamentally change how you respond to those circumstances. Life will test you again and again, not with the malicious intent to crush your spirit, but with the benevolent purpose of preparing you for greater things. And every test successfully navigated, every challenge overcome, becomes another invaluable tool in your arsenal, another layer of resilience forged in the fires of experience. You become more precise in your actions, more confident in your abilities, more unshakable in your resolve. Setbacks, when approached with a strategic mind, cease to be obstacles and transform into stepping stones, each one elevating you to a higher vantage point. Let me share something profoundly real. Setbacks don't just inflict pain, they also instill humility. And humility, often misunderstood, is the fertile ground from which true wisdom springs. When humbled, you begin to listen more attentively, to observe more keenly. You stop rushing headlong into action and start dedicating more time to deep strategic thinking. The setback, in its apparent cruelty, slows you down, not to halt your progress, but to ensure that when you do move, you are moving in the right direction with greater clarity and purpose. There is an undeniable beauty in this process, a hidden power in the pause. The storm did not come to drown you. It came to teach you how to swim in deeper, more challenging waters. Every great leader who has shaped history, every champion who has stood atop the podium, every world changer who has dared to dream a different reality has faced moments, often prolonged periods, when everything they held dear, everything they had built, collapsed around them. But they rebuilt, not with the same naive mindset that led to the initial collapse, but with a new consciousness, one forged in the intense heat of fire, tempered by adversity and laser-focused on a refined strategy. And that, my friend, is precisely how you too will rise. So, do not squander your suffering. Do not allow your moments of breakdown to be wasted, to go unused. There is a blueprint for your next level hidden within the debris of your most painful experiences. You must have the courage to dig through the wreckage, to unearth the wisdom embedded within the pain, and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more formidable than before, because that is what true dominance looks like. It's not about navigating a flawless, unblemished path. It's about possessing the indomitable courage to turn your wounds into weapons, to make your setbacks an integral, empowering part of your story, not a source of shame. And when the world witnesses how you moved through the inferno and emerged not scorched, but clutching diamonds in your hands, that is when they will finally understand. You weren't just surviving, you were strategizing. You weren't just enduring, you were preparing. You were in essence becoming unstoppable. In a world that often seeks comfort in routine, that thrives on the predictable and the known, there exists an unparalleled, almost mystical power in becoming the one individual whom nobody can quite figure out. When people can accurately predict your next move, when they can anticipate your reactions with certainty, they effectively control you, often without lifting a single finger. They learn to read your habits like an open book. They anticipate your emotional responses with uncanny accuracy. And suddenly, you find yourself no longer leading your own dance, but reacting to a rhythm set by others. However, when you consciously choose to be unpredictable, when you refuse to walk in the same well-worn straight lines, when you deliberately break free from repeating the same emotional scripts, you render yourself virtually untouchable. Your adversaries cannot effectively attack what they cannot track. Your rivals cannot replicate what they cannot understand. The quintessential key to establishing dominance in any field, in any room, in any relationship, lies in cultivating an aura of mystery. And mystery is born from movement without a discernible map, from actions that defy easy categorization. It is about deliberately, strategically breaking patterns. It is about responding with profound silence when they anticipate a cacophony of noise, with unshakable strength when they expect to see weakness, with serene calm when they are braced for chaos. Unpredictability, when wielded by a master, is not synonymous with being erratic, chaotic, or out of control. On the contrary, it is the hallmark of being profoundly strategic. You are not adrift, you are simply never obvious. Most people navigate their lives on autopilot, prisoners of the same recurring thoughts, the same knee-jerk responses, the same ingrained habits. This very predictability makes them easy targets, vulnerable to manipulation and exploitation. If someone knows with certainty what you will do next, they can subtly or overtly orchestrate your every step to their advantage. But when you consciously shatter that pattern, when you begin to think for yourself with fresh eyes and respond in ways that deviate from your old predictable self, you introduce an element of confusion, of nervousness into their calculations. And it is in that space of their uncertainty that your true power begins to assert itself. You must cultivate the willingness to walk away with dignity when they fully expect you to beg or plead. You must learn to remain serenely silent when they are braced for an emotional explosion. You must achieve your successes in quiet diligence, especially when they are eagerly anticipating your downfall. Be the calm eye in the midst of the storm. Let your inner peace itself be an unpredictable force. The world expects reactive behavior. Offer them disciplined, thoughtful responses instead. The world is conditioned to recognize and exploit patterns. Gift them with innovation, with unexpected brilliance. This is how you consistently maintain the upper hand, not through brute force, but through the artful element of surprise. Unpredictability is a weapon for which the conventional world is largely unprepared. Because when you embrace unpredictability, you seize control of the narrative, you rewrite the established rules of engagement, you reset the prevailing dynamics. People are often at a loss when confronted with someone who feels no desperate need to explain themselves, who refrains from laying all their cards on the table, who moves with clear intention but without prior announcement or fanfare. That kind of centered, self-contained energy confounds the predictable mind. And the very moment you cease to be easily readable, you cease to be reachable by their attempts at manipulation. You disrupt the rhythm they had come to rely on. You are no longer a familiar song to which they can effortlessly dance. You become an untamed storm, impossible to predict, impossible to control. And that, my friend, is how you transform from a mere follower, a passive pawn, into an undeniable force of nature. They will undoubtedly label you. They might call you distant, aloof. Let them. They might whisper that you are mysterious, enigmatic. Let them. They will observe your transformation and declare, perhaps with a hint of unease, you've changed. And they will be absolutely correct. Because the old you, the predictable you, was easy to read, a known quantity. The old you reacted emotionally, followed the well-trodden script, showed up merely to be seen, to fit in. But the new you, the evolving you, observes with greater acuity and reveals with greater discretion. You conduct your most profound thinking in the sanctuary of silence, and you achieve your most significant victories in the privacy of your own focused efforts. You no longer feel compelled to respond to every challenge, to engage in every debate, to justify your every move. You allow people the freedom to guess, to assume, to wonder, and in that fertile space of their uncertainty, you gain ground, you expand your influence, you subtly yet powerfully dominate. Because every time they attempt to ensnare you with a familiar pattern, you demonstrate that you have evolved, that you have upgraded your internal operating system. You are no longer playing the same game, and they, much to their chagrin, no longer know the rules. Even on the grand battlefield of life, unpredictability serves as your most formidable shield. Learn to think like a seasoned general, not merely a foot soldier. A general does not reveal their entire strategy up front. A general employs feints, misdirection, and tactics designed to confuse the enemy, and then, when the moment is perfectly ripe, strikes with devastating precision. This must become your way. Cease providing others with detailed roadmaps to the vulnerabilities of your heart. Stop handing out unfettered access to your next strategic step. Make them earn such insight. Keep them on their heels, slightly off balance. The people around you may not always harbor malicious intentions, but many will, consciously or unconsciously, misuse predictable individuals. They will take advantage of consistency that lacks strategic underpinning. But when you cultivate an aura of unpredictability, they are forced to think twice, to hesitate. And in that crucial moment of their hesitation, you win. You outmaneuver them, often without uttering a single word. Being unpredictable also cultivates profound internal strength. It signifies that you have detached yourself from the insatiable need to please everyone, from the constant craving to be understood at all times. It means you are no longer addicted to mere reaction. You are grounded in unwavering intention. You do not follow fleeting trends or popular opinion. You follow your unique mission, your inner compass. You walk into a room not desperately seeking attention, because your very presence, your centered energy, is already doing the work. You do not raise your voice in anger or frustration. You raise your standards for yourself and for those you allow into your sphere. That is how you learn to move differently. That is how you confound those who expected the old, predictable you to show up. And here lies the profound beauty of being unpredictable. The individuals who truly value you, who genuinely resonate with your essence, will not demand constant clarity or explanation. They will respect your growth, your evolution, even when they do not fully comprehend its trajectory. Let me share an undeniable truth. Every great disruptor in the annals of history, every innovator who has reshaped our world, was at their core unpredictable. They did not ascend to greatness by diligently doing what was expected of them. They rose by breaking the established rhythm, by daring to go left when the entire world anticipated they would go right. They remained quiet when everyone else screamed. They showed up differently, thought differently, moved differently. Unpredictability in this context is not a glitch in the system. It is a deliberate, strategic design, and it is a design that inherently keeps you in control, because when no one can confidently predict your next move, they cannot effectively sabotage your efforts. When no one can accurately forecast the trajectory of your growth, they cannot meaningfully slow it down. When you learn to move like water, fluid, powerful, adaptable, untouchable, you do not just avoid the cleverly laid traps. You become the very storm that shatters those traps. So cease apologizing for being unreadable. That is not a weakness. It is a profound manifestation of wisdom. Be kind, but not predictable. Be consistent in your values, but not in your tactics. Be powerful, but not needlessly loud. You owe no one the script of your soul, the blueprint of your next step. Let it be a surprise. Let them guess. Let them wait. Because true power isn't always loud and ostentatious. It is often silent, strategic, and operating just out of sight. And when the moment is perfectly ripe, when they least expect it, when the world believes you have settled into a comfortable complacency, you rise, without warning, without a discernible pattern, without seeking anyone's permission. That is how kings and queens move. That is how legends are forged. That is how true, lasting dominance is secured. Not through force alone, but through mystery, through control, through the divine and sophisticated art of being unpredictable. There exists a strata of power, a more refined and potent form that does not announce itself with blaring trumpets or ostentatious displays. It doesn't need to shout its presence from the rooftops, nor does it feel the compulsion to raise a flag to prove its dominion. This is the power wielded by those who move with the quiet grace of a shadow, who orchestrate their victories with such subtlety that they remain invisible until the moment they become utterly, undeniably manifest. Real power, you see, transcends mere domination. It is rooted in profound discipline. It is the nuanced understanding that while you possess the capacity to win, you choose to do so with such elegance and strategic finesse that the battlefield itself remains unseen by most observers. The individual who feels the constant need to be the loudest in the room, to fill every silence with their own voice, is often, paradoxically, the weakest, driven by an insatiable insecurity. The one relentlessly striving to prove their worth is usually the one who, at their core, doubts they have anything truly substantial to offer. But when you operate from a deep wellspring of quiet confidence, from an unshakable, rooted certainty in your own capabilities and values, you transcend the need for external validation. You have no compulsion to showcase the war, to narrate every skirmish, because you are already engaged in winning on a higher, more internal, and ultimately more impactful level. People may cast their doubts upon you. Allow them this indulgence. They may underestimate your capabilities, misjudge your resolve. Let them. This underestimation, far from being a hindrance, becomes your distinct advantage. They cannot effectively defend against a strategic advance they do not even perceive is coming. Therefore, play the long game. Maintain your unwavering focus. Cultivate your potent silence. And when the dust eventually settles, they will find themselves standing bewildered on a battlefield they never knew you traversed, while you emerge as the serene, last one standing. The common miscalculation is to equate strength solely with loudness, with overt displays of force. But this is a superficial understanding. True, enduring strength lies in stillness, in the quiet fortitude of the spirit. It is found in the disciplined restraint to not react when your ego is pricked and provoked. It is manifested in the unshakable ability to remain grounded and centered when the very foundations around you are trembling. It is the serene calm that pervades your spirit even when your name, your reputation is being unjustly dragged through the mud, and yet you steadfastly refuse to descend to that level, to roll around in the mire with your detractors. Because the instant you choose to fight on their terms, on their battlefield of negativity and pettiness, you have already lost the larger war, the war for your peace, your integrity, your higher purpose. They desire your anger, your frustration, your emotional disarray. Why? Because individuals consumed by emotion make poor impulsive decisions. And when you lose control of your inner state, you inevitably cede your power. So, what is the alternative? The path of the wise. You offer a calm smile, a subtle nod perhaps. You may choose to walk away, not in defeat, but in quiet command. And then you make your strategic moves in the unseen realms, where prying eyes cannot penetrate, where disruptive interference cannot reach. This is the essence of how real dominance operates. It is quiet, it is strategic, and it astutely avoids engaging in battles that do not serve a greater purpose, battles that are ultimately beneath its dignity and focus. People will inevitably push your boundaries. Life itself will relentlessly test your mettle. They will hurl rumors, lies, betrayals in your direction, and the chorus of the world, the unthinking masses, will whisper, will urge you, clap back, respond, expose them, defend yourself. But this is not the way of the truly wise. This is not the path to enduring dominance. You do not pause your journey to swat at every ant when you are walking with giants. You do not stop to hurl stones at every barking dog when your sights are set upon a distant, worthy throne. Silence in this context is not an admission of weakness. It is a sophisticated form of warfare. It is the discerning wisdom to choose which battles are worthy of your precious energy and to allow the rest to fade into the shadows of utter irrelevance. Your energy is a sacred, finite resource. Do not squander it in futile attempts to prove what only the unfolding of time can truly reveal. For when all is said and done, the truth requires no defense. It stands tall, illuminated by its own inherent light. There is immense power in allowing your tangible success to speak more eloquently than your fleeting emotions, in letting the unwavering consistency of your actions drown out the cacophony of their gossip. Let your undeniable growth be your most potent revenge. Let your unshakable inner peace be your most profound answer. Let your character, refined in the solitary crucible of private challenges, tested in the demanding arena of silence, speak volumes when they expect you to break and lash out. Your silence should never be misconstrued as surrender. It is, in fact, the hallowed preparation room of legends. While they are consumed with arguing, you are diligently building. While they are engaged in mocking, you are relentlessly mastering your craft. While they are merely watching, you are profoundly working. For true war, the war for your destiny, needs no televised audience. Real warriors do not fight for the fleeting applause of the crowd. They fight for an enduring legacy. And legacy is not constructed through impulsive reactions. It is painstakingly built through unwavering resilience, through profound patience, through a relentless, laser-like focus on the mission at hand. The highest echelon of power is, and always will be, self-mastery. And self-mastery inherently means you no longer feel the need to vociferously announce to people who you are. They will feel it. They will sense it in the way you carry yourself, in the quiet authority of your presence, in the undeniable discipline that underpins your actions, in the tangible results you produce. These will do all the talking necessary. This is why it is a perilous endeavor to challenge someone who has transcended the need to be loud. Such individuals have been forged in the hottest fires. They have weathered storms that would shatter lesser souls. They have bled in silence, healed without applause, and now they walk with the immense weight of hard-won wisdom and the quiet, unshakable confidence of someone who has already won the critical inner battles. You have no need to prove your worth to those incapable of recognizing true value. You have no obligation to explain your journey to those who are not genuinely listening, who lack the capacity to understand. You simply need to keep building, keep growing, keep evolving, and allow the profound silence of your focused effort to construct the legend that will be your legacy. Have you ever observed how the most truly dangerous, most potent individuals are often the quietest ones? This is not a mere myth. It is a truth deeply rooted in the principles of mastery. Those who observe more than they speak, who do not chase the fleeting validation of others, who can gracefully walk away from chaos without leaving a messy footprint. They are not avoiding the fight out of fear. They have already, with astute calculation, assessed the cost, the true expenditure of energy. They understand with profound clarity that not every shot fired warrants a return volley. Some provocations deserve only silence. Some deserve a dignified grace. Some deserve the quiet, knowing smile of a person who is already miles ahead, operating on a completely different plane. That is how you truly win, not by engaging every fool who throws shade in your direction, but by cultivating such an inner brilliance, such a radiant light, that they cannot stand to be in its presence. You rise while they rant, you flourish while they fumble, you dominate, subtly and surely, without ever needing to overtly declare war. To win without visibly showing the war, you must achieve mastery over restraint. This means consciously choosing not to react to every opinion, every criticism, every perceived slight. It means keeping your inner circle small, sacred, and fiercely protected. It means relinquishing the deep-seated need to explain your unique journey to people who were never endowed with your particular vision in the first place. You move quietly because your mission, your purpose, resonates far louder than your mouth ever could. You move with deliberate intent, not with impulsive reactivity. And when you cultivate this way of being consistently, over time, people begin to notice something distinctly different about you. You are not easily moved, not easily thrown off balance by external turbulence. You are not desperate for recognition or applause. This is because you are anchored to your principles, focused on your purpose. You have tasted the profound satisfaction of purposeful action, and now no amount of pettiness, no distraction, however alluring, can pull you off your chosen path. This transformative mindset will inevitably change how you walk, how you talk, how you engage with the world. You no longer respond to disrespect by sinking to its level. You rise above it, effortlessly. You no longer chase people or opportunities. You attract, by virtue of your own centered being, what aligns with your highest good. You no longer engage in futile arguments. You observe, you learn, you act with wisdom. This is the level of being that most will never reach, because they remain ensnared in the cycle of reaction, still desperately trying to be seen, still embroiled in winning pointless arguments instead of focusing on winning the only war that truly matters, the war for their own destiny. But the select few who transcend that pervasive noise, they create a silence so profound, so resonant, that it shakes foundations. They leave a legacy not through the volume of their shouts, but through the impact of their actions. They write their story not with fleeting words, but with enduring works. And that kind of story, that kind of legacy, lasts far longer than any headline, any rumor, any fleeting superficial judgment. Here is the unvarnished truth. If they can provoke you, they can control you. But when you cease to respond, when you break the cycle of stimulus and reaction, you cease to be their puppet. You change the narrative. You flip the script from reactive vulnerability to reflective strength. And in that sacred space between their action and your conscious non-reaction, that is where your true power germinates and grows. That is where the inner storm calms. That is where you become, in essence, unstoppable. Because the person who cannot be provoked cannot be easily defeated. They move based on unwavering principle, not fleeting pressure. They act with profound purpose, not from a place of unhealed pain. They win, not just by reaching the summit, but by steadfastly refusing to be pulled down by those whose vision remains confined to the valleys beneath their calling. This does not imply that you don't feel, that you don't experience hurt. It means you have made a conscious, unwavering decision that your purpose is infinitely more important than your pride. You have chosen legacy over ego, and that choice, that resolute decision to remain focused when distractions clamor all around you, that is the silent war most people lose. But not you. Because now you understand. Now you know that the loudest noise often emanates from the weakest hearts, and the strongest warriors are frequently the quietest souls in the room. The ones who have learned through hard-won experience that peace is not a passive state, but an active, potent power. And true dominance is not about crushing others. It is about controlling your own direction so completely, so masterfully, that no attack, no insult, no betrayal, however venomous, can ever pull you off your sacred course. So, let the world watch. Let them whisper their speculations. Let them wonder, with a mixture of curiosity and unease, what you are truly up to. This is good. This means they do not know. This means your next move is protected, veiled in strategic silence. This means your elevation is occurring quietly, powerfully, beneath the radar of their limited perception. And when your work finally speaks, when your success inevitably shows, when your long-awaited breakthrough finally shatters the old paradigms, there will be no need for debate, no requirement for explanation. There will only be results, only impact, only undeniable victory, and they will look around bewildered, asking, how did they do it? And the answer will echo in the profound resonance of your silence. You won the war they never even saw. And that, my friend, is how you outsmart everyone. That is how you dominate with dignity. That is how you master the game without ever needing to play it loud. So, walk forward now, quiet, focused, unshakable. For the world may not see the war, but they will, without a doubt, feel the undeniable impact of your victory. If you have journeyed with me this far, absorbing these truths, then you are not like most. You did not come seeking fleeting motivation, you came seeking profound transformation. You desired not just words, but the very fire that forges a new reality. You have been shown the path to think differently, to move with a new kind of power, to carry yourself with the quiet command of one who does not ask for respect, but embodies it with every breath, every step. We began this exploration by tapping into something raw, something real, the art of outsmarting anyone, not for the inflation of ego, not to diminish others, but to rise above the petty games and manipulations that ensnare so many. The goal is to become so centered, so composed, so impeccably intentional that no external chaos can penetrate your inner fortress. For true dominance is not found in noise, but in crystalline clarity. It is embodied by the man who does not break under immense pressure, by the woman who does not fold when the heat of adversity intensifies. It is the indomitable soul that relentlessly moves forward, even when the entire world seems arrayed against them, attempting to hold them back. You were guided to control your emotions, for if you do not, they will surely control you. This is the genesis of discipline, the understanding that power without control is merely undirected, often destructive force. You must first master the universe within before you can hope to influence the world outside. The true game changer is not the one who can shout the loudest, but the one who can maintain serene calm when the storm rages at its fiercest. This is the fundamental demarcation between leaders and followers, between kings and pawns, between titans and the merely average. Then you are reminded of the profound strategy. Learn everything, but speak little. This is the unseen weapon, the quiet preparation that catches the world off guard. While they engage in idle talk, you study. While they make baseless guesses, you observe with keen insight. While they rush impulsively, you calculate with precision. You absorb knowledge like a vast, silent ocean, speaking only when your words carry the undeniable weight of truth and purpose. You do not squander your voice, you invest it, and when you do, the room steals and listens. That is true influence. That is power imbued with purpose. You were implored to stop asking for permission and to start moving with unwavering precision. Too many souls linger in a state of perpetual waiting, hoping for a green light that will never illuminate from an external source. But you, armed with this understanding, light your own path. You do not wait to be picked. You do not beg for a seat at the table. You conceptualize, design, and build your own table. For nothing truly changes until you make the sovereign decision that it is time to move. And when you move with clear purpose, with refined strategy, with sharp, undeniable intent, there is no door that can remain permanently closed to you, no gatekeeper who can ultimately bar your way. They may not understand your methods, your silence, your unconventional approach, and that in itself is precisely the point. And when the inevitable setbacks of life strike, you do not crumble. You adapt, you alchemize. You learn to turn every loss into a profound lesson, every betrayal into a meticulously drawn blueprint for future resilience, every closed door into a new, more ingenious design. You were never meant to be permanently stopped by adversity. You were meant to be redirected, refined, and ultimately strengthened by it. For setbacks are not mere punishments. They are profound preparations. They are sharpening your edges, instilling deep humility, forcing you to look inward, to dig deeper, and to climb higher than you ever thought possible. You take the raw material of pain and, like a master alchemist, transmute it into pure, unadulterated power. You do not just bounce back from adversity, you bounce forward, emerging wiser, sharper, more formidable. Then came the secret that shatters all predictable patterns. Be unpredictable. Let them believe they have figured you out. Let them construct elaborate scripts in their minds, anticipating your every response. And then, with quiet confidence, flip the entire narrative. Move in ways they cannot calculate. Disappear into focused work when they expect a dramatic show. Speak with calm reason when they anticipate an emotional outburst. Build your empire in silence while they wait for you to break under pressure. Because when people cannot predict your actions, they lose their ability to control you. You remain dangerously effective by remaining strategically mysterious. Your moves become like magic, your life an unfolding legend. And finally, the master key, the culmination of this wisdom: win without showing the war. This is the penthouse suite of strategic thinking, the elite level of operation. You transcend the need to announce your plans, to broadcast your pain, to showcase your victories, or to detail your strategy. You move in silence, you train in secret, you evolve in the shadows. And when the spotlight of destiny finally finds you, you are already standing upon the mountaintop, and they are left wondering in awe and bewilderment how you even got there. You did not fight for the fleeting approval of the crowd. You fought quietly and relentlessly for the enduring crown of self-mastery. And now, you wear it not with ostentatious pride, but with profound, unshakable peace. Every lesson imparted here is a potential weapon, a tool for transformation. But the ultimate question remains: will you wield it? Will you apply these principles with diligence and consistency? Will you commit to becoming the kind of individual who does not merely listen, but leads? The kind who does not react impulsively, but responds with measured power and wisdom? Will you step decisively into a life where no one else gets to define your worth, dictate your path, or diminish your purpose? This world is a cacophony of noise, rife with manipulation, saturated with distractions. But now you know better. Now you walk differently. You are sharper, calmer, stronger, more strategically dangerous. Not because of what you say, but because of what you have diligently built in silence, because of what you have endured without breaking, because of the person you have forged yourself into when no one was watching. So, as you walk away from this moment, do not let this be a mere fleeting inspiration. Let it be a profound transformation. Let these words echo in the deepest chambers of your spirit. When doubt attempts to creep in, let them ground you. When the world's noise becomes deafening, let them elevate you. When people try to pull you down to their level, remember, you are no longer at the mercy of others. You are no longer someone passively waiting to be chosen. You are the architect now, the strategist, the quiet, unstoppable storm. Thank you for listening, for walking this path of insight with me. I hope with all sincerity that you walk into your future with your head held high, your soul deeply grounded, and your inner fire burning with an unquenchable flame. Now go, be the force they never saw coming. Be the calm in the heart of the chaos. Be the silent power that simply cannot be stopped. May wisdom guide you. Stay focused, stay fearless, and always remember, you don't need to shout to be heard. Your presence, your purpose, your power, they will speak for themselves.